Good morning, students of grade 8. This is lesson number 8 and it's unit number 2. Iqbal's message to youth. It's on page number 13. But you open your books. It might not be very clear here, but you have your books. So let's start. Iqbal's message to youth. You know what is youth? Youth means the young generation. Iqbal is one of the most outstanding Muslim poets and philosophers of the India subcontinent. Means at that time, as the two countries were not separated, so we call that time that it was India's subcontinent. His intellectual genius has reigned supreme in the area of Islamic philosophy during the 20th century, right? Intellectual means as he was very genius, he was very intellect, and it has reigned. Reign means has ruled. Supreme means at the top in the area of philosophy during the 20th century, and will direct and influence the Islamic intellectual tradition in the 21st century as well. And you might have noticed that still what we do, we study his poetry and we take lesson from them, right? His sublime poetry and philosophy inspired millions of Muslims to wake up to the reality of the time and forge a destiny for themselves. His sublime means which raise you up. So his sublime poetry, it always raised you up, and philosophy, it inspired. Inspired means it affected the millions of Muslims to wake up to the reality of the time and forge. Forge means workshop, to work a destiny for themselves. He was very much aware of the fact that if youth of the Ummah had structured their real destiny, then they could have led the Muslims of subcontinent out of the pit of subjugation earlier than they did. Subjugation means conquest, and pit means a hole in the ground, right? So he was aware of this. He knew this fact, that if youth of the Ummah had structured their real destiny, if they would have worked hard for their destination, then they would have led the Muslims of the continent out of the pit of subjugation earlier than they did, right? Then young generation is the standard bearer of any nation. Young generation, it leads the nation towards something good or bad. If their energy is channelized in proper direction, it can bring sea change in the social, political and economic fabric of the nation. Keeping this view in mind, Iqbal focused on the creative energy of the youth in his poetry, and he knew that the youth is going to bring the change, sea change. Sea change means big change, right, in the social, political and economic fabric of the nation. So he knew that only youth, it can bring a change in changing the destiny or the fate of the nation. So keeping this in mind, Iqbal always focused on the youth and his energy, and he wanted to Iqbal focused on the creative energy of the youth in his poetry, right? मोहब्बत मुझे उन जवानों से है सितारों पर जो डालते हैं कमन. कमन means लगाम. So मुझे मोहब्बत उन जवानों से है means I love that the youth जो सितारों पर डालते हैं कमन means who work hard. So this is for today, and your homework is that learn the difficult words meanings of this chapter on, and that is on page number 16, right? Thank you so much.